Making a two-way table. So last we looked at interpreting a two-way table and one that's pre-made for us and figuring out the information from that two-way table. Now we're going to take a look at coming up with your own survey, asking two questions from a group of people, and then creating a two-way table from that data. So you randomly surveyed students between the ages of 12 and 17 about whether they ride the bus to school. The results are shown in the tally sheet. Make a two-way table that includes marginal frequencies. So again, remember those marginal frequencies are the sums that are around the edge of our two-way table. So here's our tally sheet over here. So we asked students two questions. One, what was their age? So we've kind of grouped them into categories. So I've said 12 to 13, 14 to 15, 16 to 17. And then we asked, did they ride the bus or did they not ride the bus? So there's two questions that we asked them to kind of divide this into two parts. So now if we look at our two-way table, you notice here we have kind of this main area of our two-way table, and this is our relative frequencies right in the middle here. This is our main frequencies that we're looking at, and our marginal frequencies are around the outside here. So notice what I've done is I've taken my rides the bus, I've made one column, that's my riding the bus students. I've made a second column for my not riding the bus students. And then I've split that up into three rows going this way. My students who are 12 to 13, 14 to 15, and 16 to 17. And then I filled in each of my spots with my numbers from my tally sheet. So 12 to 13, 5, 10, 15, 20, 24. So there's 24 students who are age 12 to 13 who ride the bus. 14 to 15, 5, 10, there's 12 that ride the bus. 16 to 17, 5, 10, there's 14 that ride the bus in that group. And then do not ride the bus, 12 to 13, 5, 10, 15, 16, so there's 16 who do not ride the bus. 14 to 15, 5, 10, 13 who do not ride the bus. And then 16 to 17, 5, 10, 15, 20, 21. So 21, 16 to 17-year-olds in this particular survey do not ride the bus. So I've filled this in directly from my tally sheet. Again, I've broken it up into rides the bus and does not ride the bus. And then I've broken it up into my age categories. Now the marginal frequencies are on the outside. I was then just able to, instead of trying to go from tally sheet to tally sheet, was able to add vertically and horizontally. So I was able to come up with a sum of 12 to 13-year-olds, there's 40 of them. 14 to 15-year-olds, 25. 16 to 17-year-olds, 35. And then vertically, I've added up my students who rode the bus and the students who did not ride the bus. And you'll notice that when I add up my marginal frequency column and my marginal frequency row, I end up with a total that is the same. So there were 100 students I surveyed. If I add up all the ages, I get 100. If I add up all the riding the bus to not riding the bus, I come up with 100. So let's answer a couple of questions about this two-way table. Now you have the two-way table in front of you, and that's not going to leave in front of you. It's going to be a little harder for me because I'm going to have to move this out of the way while we answer these questions, but let's see how we can do here. So the first question was actually making the two-way table. Second question, how many 12 to 13-year-olds ride the bus? So again, we're going to look at our table. 12 to 13-year-olds who ride the bus, that's this category right here. So there are 24. So we should come up with 24 students. Number 3, how many 14 to 15-year-olds were surveyed? So this is a total that we're looking for. We're not asking for just riding the bus. So 14 to 15-year-olds, we want all of them. So I'm going to go over to my marginal frequency in this particular category. All of them that were surveyed, there were 25 of them altogether. 25 of them altogether that we talked to. How many students who did not ride the bus are 14 to 15-year-olds? So how many students who didn't ride the bus are 14 to 15? So here we're going to look at a cross-section. So how many students who did not ride the bus are 14 to 15-year-olds? So here's my group of students who did not ride the bus that are also 14 and 15. So we should have 13. Is that the answer I have down here? Oh, it is. I love when I'm on the same page as myself. So we have 13 who did not ride the bus, and they're in that 13 to 14 category. Last question, does the table show a relationship between age and whether, again with a typo, oh my goodness here, and whether students ride the bus to school? So, is there a relationship between their age and riding the bus to school. So let's take a look. So we notice that our 12 to 13-year-olds, there are 40 of them altogether, and it looks like more than half of them ride the bus. So this group here, I've got more than half of them ride the bus. 14 to 50-year-olds, it's about split. So about half of them ride the bus, about half of them do not ride the bus. And when we get to 16 to 17-year-olds, it definitely looks like more of them do not ride the bus. So here I'm looking at the table in the middle here. If I look at my split between who rides the bus and who doesn't ride the bus, well, it's pretty much half and half, but you'll notice I asked more 12 to 13-year-olds than I did any other group. So it seemed like, well, since more than half of them ride the bus, that would kind of even this out. So looking at my marginal frequencies here doesn't help. But if I split it up and look at each age group, 12 to 13, more of them ride the bus. 14 to 15, about even. 16 to 17, more do not ride the bus. So does there seem to be a relationship between their age and riding the bus or not? Well, yeah, it does seem. It seems like that the older they are, the less likely they are to ride the bus, which you would think would be true, but it's good to have the data behind that. So our two-way table definitely backs that up.